Hello, how's everybody doing? Thank you, Jess, for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here among such awesome poets. I love every one of you very much. Thank you. My name's George, and a lot of my stuff is kind of personal. So if you see me start getting a little shaky or my voice starts cracking, it's because I'm kind of getting naked. There's a very popular poet, a good poet that I look up to called Rudy Francisco. He has a piece called Dialogue with a Stripper, where he equates what we do as poets to stripping, except that when we're in front of a microphone, our pole doesn't touch the ceiling, but we very much are getting naked in front of you when we're writing. A lot of our pieces are very personal. Me personally, poetry quite literally saved my life. I was contemplating doing some things to myself that, well, obviously unsavory things. And I started going to the venue January of last year. And within a couple months, I got asked to be the host, and I'm completely surrounded by some of Norfolk's most amazing poets, musicians, comedians, magicians, you name it. Like he said, they come through the venue, and it's all just family and love, and it's all beautiful. But my first piece is called Pen Talk, and it's kind of my love poem to my notebook and my pen. I remember when I pulled you from the shelf at the 5 and dime, thinking to myself, this will do just fine. I'd only written 2 lines, but knew I'd get better with time, because honestly, I couldn't get much worse. I ran my hand across your cover, almost like I was your lover. Your random black and white pattern hypnotized me. I thought of what you might provide me and how you'd get inside me the way no human beings ever could. So knock on wood, your price was good, like I hoped that it would. So I paid my $1.50 and took you home. Couldn't wait to get you alone. I was sitting on bone, waiting to fill your pages with the deepest thoughts of my dome. A lyrical love Jones, you were finally mine, ready to write. I opened you and cracked your spine for the very first time. The sound was like the whispers of wind. I did it again, and then I introduced you to my best friend. To the end, yes, my pen is my very best friend. I do the talking, she just listens, and she never butts in. She knows everything about me, and she never ever doubts me. She's the only one that ever got away with talking about me. And I need her. Like bass needs drums or hate needs hugs. I need her anytime I need to be shown love, and she's got me. So I know she'll never let me down, and so I promise to never ever let her down. We've got this bond now. We've been through the worst together. Analyzed every line of every verse together. We've bled ink with each other and faced fears together. She helps me get it out just so I feel better. And she's seen it all. Every emotion, the laughter, the pain. She's seen me fall apart on paper and then rip the page. And even through all this, she's never turned away. She just puts my fingers around her waist and dances across my page. Thank you. My next piece is, I have a 4-year-old nephew named Jackson, who's my youngest of the 4 nephews. Probably the smartest too. Almost too smart for his own good. I'm sure we all know children that way. And he and I had a conversation. He ended up watching a horror movie. Not sure exactly how that all happened, but then you'll know what happened after this piece. It's called Monsters. So roughly a month and a half ago, my youngest nephew came up to me and he said, Theo, do you believe in monsters? I looked that little boy square in his innocence. I let the deception roll off my forked tongue with such an ease that it seemed rehearsed, and I said, Jackson, you know monsters aren't real. In that moment, my long-standing policy of never lying to children disintegrated like a vampire in the sunlight. I felt my convictions transform within me like a werewolf writhing and reeling in agony under the full moon of my hypocrisy. I went from Jekyll to Hyde, malformed, and along with me my principles, but I just couldn't tell him the truth because, you see, not only do I believe in monsters, but I've seen them with my own eyes. They walk among us, disguised as men, pretending to be human, monsters that would snatch away your slumber just to sell you back your dreams, pestilent predators hunting down our happiness for sport, brooding and leering, living among us, but only adults can see them because children still have this filmy membrane layer of innocence over their eyes. But in recent generations, that filmy layer seems to peel away earlier and earlier and earlier into their childhood. I couldn't form my lips to tell him that I saw my first monster when I was only a few years older than he is now. That I armed myself with wooden stakes, silver bullets, holy water, and crucifixes, but that these were of little defense against these beasts. You see, these were not mere witches I could douse with water. I couldn't form my lips to tell him that His uncle is a mad scientist that created several monsters of his own in his mental laboratory, that he crossed the DNA of his thoughts, spliced the genetic makeup of his opinions, giving birth to creatures so foul they could muscle the Jabberwocky into submission, so malevolent they could send the Leviathan back into his abyss, so vile, so vulgar, so twisted they would make Beelzebub step his game up. Monsters. Monsters with putrid breath, hulking, clumsy things, their knuckles dragging along the brimstone pavements of my iniquity, eyes moist and burning with hatred, trust hanging lifelessly from their horns, teeth sparsely residing in a mouthful of discontent, dripping with the acidic saliva of deceptions I endured. Couldn't tell them. Couldn't tell them that even though I created these monsters, I grew to hate them for what they showed me about myself. And the only way to combat them was to become an even more horrible monster. And when I became so savage, so disconnected, that I sent my monsters running to the furthest corridors of their realms, and now they hide inside the closet and under the bed because they're more afraid of me than I could have ever been of them. I just couldn't tell. How could I tell him that not only do I believe in monsters, but that he comes from a long line of mad scientists, his lab genetically predisposed with all the equipment he'll ever need to create monsters of his own? Couldn't tell. But one day he may learn the truth on his own. And I'm afraid he'll think back to the day his uncle lied to him. And perhaps he'll prefer that I had prepared him. Now it's been almost 4 months since I've seen him. Because I don't have the audacity to look into his 4-year-old eyes after what I've done. Most of my pieces come from relationships or failed ones. I read once, and I don't know who said it, but they said that every poet is born from a heartache. That's something. This piece is called Tangerine Sunset. It's about a relationship that didn't work out. You sailed off into the tangerine sunset, eager to explore what you might be missing. I stood on the banks of the river disappointment, watching you shrink slowly into the horizon as you set course toward your theoretical bold new life without a care in the world, but Her Majesty's ship left quite awake. You left me with an unorganized pile of unanswered questions allegedly sprawled across soiled napkins, scraps of paper, and bubblegum wrappers. You left so abruptly that your perfume hung in the air and your footprints remained in my carpet for days. You left the steamy handprint on my bathroom mirror, the impression of your head on my pillow, your goodbye in my ears. You left me with this infernal stack of questions in my hands. While you spread your wings, mine were clipped, rendering me flightless in a clumsy, tumbling freefall. You left me sleeping on your side of the bed just to make it feel less empty. Our picture, still in its frame, a reminder of what you chose to sail away from. You left me with my heart in my hands and my love on display and my proposal on my lips. You left me. Alone. Still clutching this chaotic stack of questions, struggling to keep it together as it wrestled with the very wind that filled your sails. 2 arms, frail from the lack of your embrace, hopelessly holding them against the hollow of my chest until one violent gust ripped them from my grip, sending them swirling all around me, and it was enough to make me contemplate the existence of serenity on the edge of a razor blade. Congratulations. You almost broke me. You certainly come closer than anyone has before, so my hat's off to you, but how dare you even tie the laces on the shoes that carried you back to my doorstep? How did your fingers not break under the pressure of pressing my doorbell? How did your face remain intact when you parted your lips to speak to me? Did you really think I'd meet you at the dock? How did you expect to find my arms in any other position than folded defensively across my chest? How did you? I've heard whispers of your misadventures on the other side of the fence. See the stains those greener pastures left upon your kneecaps. The very wind that carried you away carried word back to me that you never did find what you were looking for. So now I guess you've got a new map that reads, your X marks the spot. Well, I'm not sure what you're looking for now, and I'm not sure you are either. I don't know what you expected to find here, but clearly it is not what you left me. Because I stood on that riverbank, anxiously awaiting your return, watching the tides rise and fall in unison with my broken breath until I sank shin deep into its muddy sediment, holding this unorganized pile of unanswered questions that just don't have. Thank you. You'll all be happy to know I'm in a much better place now emotionally. A young lady that I used to about 8 years ago. We only dated for about 2 months, give or take. Unfortunately, at the time, our work schedules were completely opposite of one another. She was working till about 2 in the morning at her job, and I was going in at 2 in the morning. So the last 2-3 weeks of our relationship, we literally only saw each other in the parking lots. Kind of fizzled away, but we've always kept contact throughout the years. Now it's 8 years later, and she came back into my life, and things are going fantastic. So these next 2 pieces are about her. And I'm not usually the lovey-dovey, mushy guy, but she brought it out. So this first piece about her is called Meet Me at the Playground. I want to love you like grade school puppy love. You can be the little girl in pigtails that I'm mean to. I'll be the boy you chase around at recess. You'll throw dirt at me, and I'll put gum in your hair because this is how we say I love you. So meet me at the monkey bars. We'll dangle, our legs kicking. The ground beneath us will transform into love, and on the count of 3, we'll let go and fall in together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I want to love you like a middle school crush. You can be the girl with your hair down that I can't keep my eyes off of. I'll be the young man you pass notes to in the hall. You'll share your gum with me, and I'll carve our names into a lunch table because this is how we say I love you. So meet me after school. I'll carry your books, I'll walk you home. And when I drop you off at your front doorstep, we'll 1, 2, 3. See, I want to love you like a high school sweetheart. You can be the young girl that I asked to prom. I'll be the man you asked to Sadie Hawkins. You'll wear my jacket, and I'll hang our picture in the locker because this is how we say I love you. So meet me under the bleachers at the homecoming game. Pull you close, kiss you, and as our team scores the winning touchdown, we will 1, 2, 3. See, I want to love you like a child loves, completely and unconditionally, because this is how a man loves. You can be the woman of my dreams, and I will be the man at your side. We will be the wind in each other's sails and the spines in each other's backs, because this is how we say, I love you. So meet me at the playground. I'll be in the sandbox, building you a castle. 1, 2. Thank you. And it's called Like, and it was before the feelings of love kind of developed. That whole, hey, you're awesome. I am absolutely, positively, 100% head over heels in like. I like you like crazy. You are the like of my life, and life is like a box of chocolates, so you never know what we might get. I like you like a Facebook status. I'm giving you the thumbs up. Get it? Facebook status, thumbs up, baby. I like you like Valley girls like to say like, and I mean that's like awesome. I like you a whole lot of bunches of oodles and oodles of tongues. I like you so much that liking you made me forget how much I like chocolate milk. And if you know me like I know that you know me, then you know that I really, really, really like chocolate milk. So that's like serious. I like you like the stars, like the sun likes to warm the beach, like stars like to decorate the sky, like the moon likes to tug on the ocean. But you're much too sweet and pretty to be anything like the cold, pale moon, so I like to think that if you were a heavenly body, instead of just having a heavenly body, that you would be a red star going supernova, a billion light years away, casting cosmic fairy dust into my atmosphere as I fall into your orbit. What I'm saying is, I'd like to revolve around you. I'd like to fall into you like you were a swimming pool full of all the things I like the most. I like you like waves like boats, like Eskimos like coats. I like you like I like hot butter on my breakfast toast. Good morning. You're what I'd like to wake up to. I'd like to be the man in your life, and I'd like to build a life together. And maybe, just maybe, I like you a little too much, but maybe, just maybe, that's okay this time. And maybe all this like is beginning to like tiptoe itself into the arenas of love, but honestly, I'd like that too. Thank you. Okay, this is another sort of a love poem. This is Dave's favorite. It's about my dentist. There was a period in time where I kind of had a little slight baby crush on my dentist. Anyway, so before you recline this chair, numb my mouth and stuff it with that gauze that seems to absorb my very words, there's something that I want to say to you. You are absolutely beautiful. I mean, my God, look at you. You're like an ice cream cone with arms. Sweet enough to give me cavities. Dr. Konikoff's office called today to confirm my appointment for Friday, and I got excited. Who does that? Who gets excited about a trip to the dentist? Well, clearly it's not the cleaning I'm excited about. It's the 45 minutes I get to spend with you. Practically immobile, laying flat on my back, staring up into your energetic eyes as you poke and prod at my gum line, not once noticing all the beautiful things I would say about you resting right there before you on the tip of my tongue. Even after you adjust the overhead lamp to get a better view. Your voice sings me sonnets of proper dental hygiene with your face hidden behind a surgical mask like some sort of sexy dental ninja wielding toothbrush katanas and fluoride throwing stars, tiger punching plaque, judo chopping gingivitis, you magnificent mouthwash warrior, cavity creeps are no match for you. You are my sweet tooth craven, my Colgate cutie, my Listerine queen. A dental floss goddess in scrubs and rubber gloves, I will fall victim to your Novocaine willingly. I get butterflies on me in my stomach every time I step into your office, but not for the reason as most patients in your waiting room. You see, these flutters in my stomach, well, they belong to you. So while all you may hear is what I'm really saying is, I like you a lot. Enough to make me come out of pocket for that one extra visit a year my insurance won't cover. I know I don't know much about you, but my molars hold enough wisdom to know that you're something special, and I can no longer settle for just scheduling my next appointment. Thank you. Jack told me before we started that if there was extra time to just get you guys to 4. So I prepared for 20 minutes. I got 15 left. Smiles, you know my word. Anything I haven't done? You Newtown.
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to read that one. I don't have that committed to memory. Is my phone right here?
How long does it take you to memorize one of the poems?
It depends. Some of them it turned out I had it memorized and didn't know I had it memorized. Mm-hmm. I'll just try and all of a sudden get through it. Mm-hmm. The stuff that rhymes, I actually memorize that by the time I'm done writing it. Mm-hmm. Just because there's meters, so you kind of follow patterns and it's simpler. But when it's a free verse, I kind of have to create a movie in my head. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really reciting it to you. I'm more so just explaining to you what I'm seeing going on up here as it's. So Dave wanted to hear a piece I wrote called Exit Newtown North. Anyone in here besides Dave know John Barlow? John Barlow? No. He challenged me to write as an observer, and I sat on the assignment for about 6 months until something actually happened. I was on my way home from work, and this happened. Exit Newtown North. Approaching the light at Virginia Beach Boulevard at a snail's pace from about 8 car lengths in front of me, I see a man limping between 2 rows of gas guzzlers, poisoning the only air he has to breathe. He wore his story around his neck like an albatross. His clothes were at least 3 sizes too big, but I imagine that once upon a time, they probably fit him perfectly. A business jacket from the late 90s hung sullen over his shoulders. Shirt stained heavily with hunger pains and pants held up with a frayed extension cord, a neglected Nike on one foot, a rejected Reebok on the other. He moves like it hurts him to. On his head he wore a scarf, underneath 2 hats, and from beneath it all I could just make out a face, his face. Flesh heavy, brown and dry like abandoned leather, eyes sunken in and dim with their last fleeting notion of hope, face rough with soil and stubble, suffering every wrinkle holding tightly within it a memory of something broken. Lips cracked and crimson like bleeding fire trucks. Just beyond them, a shattered, incomplete smile that no one's seen in what has to be years. The creases in his knuckles ache out loud, deep like tiny canyons, filled with blood-stained disillusionment. Rejection has caked itself underneath his fingernails. His hands look defeated, shakily holding a cardboard sign that read, "Hungry. Please help." The tattered mass of him shuffled past vehicle after vehicle, his windows either remained shut or rolled up shamelessly. Drivers and passengers turned their heads away from him as if afraid to come face to face with their own compassion, fumbling with $200 cell phones, pretending not to notice him. The man in the BMW in front of me shooed him away like he was an insect he was allergic to, as though homelessness was contagious. God forbid the stench of hunger fence and past your greedy nostrils. Heaven help you if you reach into your $50 wallet for a $5 bill. You wouldn't want to get a homeless stain on your precious midnight blue Beamer, now would you? You thoughtless waste of human life. As I'm thinking this, I roll my window down just in time to hear the homeless man say to him, "God bless you." I hand him $3.67, everything I had, and when my hand met his, I recognized him. He looked like my father. He looked like my brother. He looked like my nephew, my cousin, my roommate. He looked like my friend, like the mailman, like a doctor, like a lawyer, like a cop, like a store clerk, a firefighter. He looked like a soldier, like a sailor, a marine. He looked like a hero. He looked like a mechanic, like a city worker, like a carpenter, a mason, a plumber. He looked like an electrician. He looked like a preacher, like a monk, like a deacon. He looked like God. He looked like someone's son, someone's husband, someone's dad. He looked like you. He looked, it's called, I was involved in a relationship with a young lady who was manic depressive and refused to get herself medicated. It was a very difficult relationship to maintain, and this is about her. Her spirit is a caged bird, singing muddy waters, howling her sorrows like a heartbroken harmonica. Her bloodstream has the blues. She is the band. She is every instrument and every musician. She plays her song with her entire body. When she hugs you, her arms twang like weeping banjos. The hollow bass echoes from the emptiest pit of her stomach, deeper and louder than any hunger pain the world has ever heard. She carries her sin in a guitar case, handcuffed to her wrist, talks like a tormented tambourine, dances like a ribbon in the breeze, gracefully staggering to her melancholy melody, and she thinks only she can hear. She's singing Folsom Prison Blues, putting herself on trial. She is judge, jury, executioner, and throwing the book at herself. Self-inflicting punishments for crimes she's not committed. She's imprisoned her heart behind the rusted bars of her fears, long since surrendering the keys to a reckless warden who lost them almost immediately. With no spare copy, it's all any man can do to break the locks. She's too far back in the darkness of her cell for the light in the hallway to reach her, but you can still hear her singing, "Swing low, sweet chariot," from beyond her penitentiary walls. You see, her bloodstream has the blues. Saxophone sadness wails from her windpipe, troubles flood from her eyelids, and a trumpet of tears, and it's all just tarnished brass. The kicks and snares just kick and sneer. The trombone slides in tension, and the heartbeat keeping rhythm gets faster and faster and faster and faster until it starts to sound more like a funeral march in the Big Easy. This was never easy, because her spirit is a caged bird, singing muddy waters. But I requested Etta James at last. Thank you. This is called The Death of Conversation. It's about social media networks and texting and how as society we rarely speak to each other anymore. If we're exchanging communication, it's in some form of text or on Facebook. People put entirely too much of their personal business on Facebook. So this is about that. So I told Tom, "I need my space, Jack. Facebook, I want my face back." See, we complain about the Patriot Act and we volunteer the facts. A status update every 20 minutes. "I just ate a piece of chicken, about to take a bath and do my hair." No one cares. Listen, with every profile we create, we seal our fate. Voices trapped inside a chat window. The pains I'm trying to break. It's amazing just how brave people get behind a screen. You throw your life against the Facebook wall for everyone to see. And society so disregards its privacy, it's getting to the point where I just wish someone would lie to me. Or at very least not give me every little detail of their day. You see, your life is not that cool, and I don't need a play-by-play. by the way. Someone tell me, because I'm just dying to know how I got tons of friends online, but like 5 or 6 in my phone. I guess I haven't Twittered long enough, because I can feel my arm still. Quick, somebody poke me, there's a mafia war on Farmville. People on my friends list that I don't even know, but they know someone who knows someone who knows someone I know. Others I met maybe once that never saw again, but they sent me a request because they like collecting friends. Well, see, my friends are few and far between, and really more like family, and part of a reality that goes beyond computer screens. Human speech has grown so weak, we all communicate through text, T9 predicting for us what it thinks we're thinking next. I miss human connections and the sounds of voice inflections, and I miss the silent things that can be said with an expression. But instead, we send emoticons of smiling faces we can't touch, and abbreviate our laughter because we don't laugh out loud enough. So I don't want to play words with friends. Stop sending me invitations, but if you'd like to trade words, my friend, then I invite you to conversation. Thank you.